In this video, I'm going to give you a full breakdown of SMS compliance rules in some of the major regions. Just a note, this video was recorded for my school community. So if you see me mention a school community, that is because it is part of that training module that we do where we fully break down SMS strategies. If you want to join that school community, link in the description. It pretty much has everything I do or know about email and SMS marketing, along with weekly calls with me. Check out the description of the video. That link is there. Best money you can spend when it comes to becoming a better email and SMS marketer. Anyway, let's get into it. Compliance for SMS. SMS is one of the highest converting channels available. It also has one of the fastest ways, though, to get fined, blocked by carriers, or permanently banned from sending messages. So in this module, I'm going to talk to you about compliance, and this is not country specific. The thing that makes this hard is that there is no single global SMS law, right? Compliance changes by country, by region, and sometimes carrier. So I'm gonna break down SMS compliance across all major regions so you know exactly what you can and cannot do, as well as where brands usually mess up and how to build SMS programs that scale safely. So let's get into it. Just a note, this is not legal advice. I did a history degree. Don't take legal advice from me. This is just practical recommendations. So, why SMS compliance is stricter than email. Before we go country by country, you need to understand why SMS rules are so aggressive, right? SMS is just considered a lot more personal than email, right? You're going directly to someone's phone. A phone number is, from a privacy perspective, a lot more sensitive than an email address. Messages interrupt people in real time, and really, carriers, they can control the delivery and shut you down instantly if it goes wrong. This is why SMS requires pretty much explicit consent almost everywhere. Note, explicit consent rather than implicit. If email's a handshake, right, like SMS is knocking on someone's front door, which is why in the later modules I talk about the 3 types of SMS messages I only recommend sending, right? And I'll speak about that a little bit further down. Now, there are 3 global SMS rules that apply pretty much everywhere. No matter what country you're in, SMS compliance usually comes down to 3 core principles, all right? So, number 1 is explicit consent. The customer must clearly agree to receive marketing texts. Explicit consent. Pre-checked boxes do not count. For example, in your checkout, silence does not count. Purchasing does not count, right? They have to explicitly tick it, right? Also, another core principle, number 2, is transparency. You must clearly state that messages are marketing. You must also say who is sending them. Now within KLAVIYO defaults a lot of this for you, and the messages and data rates may apply if they respond, right? So KLAVIYO kind of hits this for you within the builder, and I'll show you that in a second. You must also provide easy opt-out, sorry. And once again, KLAVIYO kind of covers you there. Every marketing message typically has to include a clear opt-out, right? So usually it's replying to the message with stop, and then the opt-out must be immediate, right? There's no friction, no login to opt-out, no delay. KLAVIYO sorts you with that, which is one of the great things. If you violate these terms, this is kind of where you get into a little bit of trouble, okay? Now, for most small brands, legally speaking, you're probably gonna be fine. Nonetheless, it is best to adhere to this. So, United States and Canada. Let's start with compliance when it comes to North America, specifically right now in the United States. The US is governed primarily by the TCPA, okay, and carrier level rules. What does that mean? God knows, but I'm going to explain a little bit more in terms of what that entails, all right? The key requirements to remain compliant within the US is you need to have express written consent for marketing. It must be captured before the first message, okay? The opt-in language must clearly mention automated marketing text as well, and opt-out instructions must be included in every message. So when you pop up, or there's like a pop-up form with SMS, you'll notice KLAVIYO gives you default terms and conditions. You have to include those, right? Common mistakes that people have is using the checkout phone number without SMS consent. So somebody checks out and then they capture their SMS consent, right? It's just not best practice, okay? Well, it's illegal. Penalties, so TCPA lawsuits can range anywhere between $500 to $1,500 per message. So yes, that's per message, not in total. This is why compliance is kind of non-negotiable, right? Now, Canada, very similar. Canada follows CASL, okay? It's similar to the US, but slightly stricter, okay? So Canada is a little bit stricter than the US. The key points here, though, is that express consent is required for marketing texts. You must store proof of consent, okay? Now, if you capture it within KLAVIYO, that proof is in KLAVIYO. You're capturing it automatically, right? You must also identify your message in every, identify your business in every message, and the opt-out must be immediate. Once again, when you're sending these text messages, KLAVIYO, when you're sending to a Canada number, automatically applies it. It automatically applies it to the messages. So you do not need to worry, and you cannot remove it, by the way. Really quickly, sorry to interrupt the video. I just want to tell you something really cool that we've started doing with Inbox. I've actually created a school community where I teach you anything and everything I know about email and SMS marketing, from really advanced campaign strategies to how to simply set up your KLAVIYO account, all the way to building really, really cool automations for the back end of your e-commerce store. Whether you're a business owner trying to learn how to do email marketing or an email marketer trying to learn how to become a better email marketer, there is a link in the description to this school community where I teach you everything I know. Check it out, it's worthwhile. Book a call to have a chat with me to see if you're a right fit for the community, and if you are, I'd love to get you in there. Anyway, sorry for interrupting your video, let's get back to it. United Kingdom and Europe, this is where most brands get confused, okay? So they fall under GDPR plus PECR, okay? In the UK, and listen, God, don't ask me what these acronyms mean. I can give them to you later. But in the UK and the EU, and sorry, there's a cat walking around in the background over here. I have to take care of it. In the UK and the EU, SMS falls under those GDPR and e-privacy laws. The key requirements here: explicit opt-in is mandatory. Consent must be freely given, specific and informed, as well as unambiguous. You must log when, where, and how consent was captured, and you must allow opt-out at any time. Once again, KLAVIYO has you pretty much covered on all these bases if you're using the KLAVIYO integration. Just do not use the auto check function within Shopify. You have soft opt-in exceptions, by the way. In some cases, you may text existing customers about similar products, but this only applies if the phone number was collected during a purchase and marketing was disclosed at the time of collection, as well as you provided them with an opt-out option. Most brands typically fail to meet all those conditions, right? The fines, listen, they're high. GDPR fines can reach millions, but carriers will usually shut you down before that even happens. You just don't want to get shut down, okay? Australia and New Zealand. So these two are often grouped together. So my company's based in New Zealand, so we're pretty much, everyone says we're pretty much the same, we're not. Australia. So Australia is governed by the Spam Act, okay? The requirements here are: consent must be express or clearly inferred. You must identify your business in every message, and you must include an unsubscribe message in every message. Once again, always enabled within KLAVIYO. Australia is pretty strict on frequency and misleading content as well. So just make sure that everything you're saying is true. You should be doing that regardless. And obviously don't bombard people with SMS messages every hour. Really, I would restrict it to once per week at most. New Zealand is governed by the Unsolicited Electronic Messages Act. Once again, requirements: consent is mandatory. Messages must identify the sender. Opt-out message must be functional for at least 30 days after sending. So if you send that message in the opt-out, once again, your opt-out isn't really going to change. Like when somebody responds with stop, that's opt-out. New Zealand's a little quieter on the enforcement front, honestly, but carriers are not. So you're probably not going to get in legal trouble here. Once again, this is not legal advice, by the way, but carriers will probably shut you down quicker. Asia Pacific, this region varies heavily. So if you're not in Asia Pacific, feel free to fast forward a little bit. This might be a little tedious here. Singapore. So Singapore is governed by PDPA. Okay, so marketing SMS requires consent. And you must also do the do not call registry to make sure that consent already exists. Opt-out language is mandatory. Basically, listen, I'm going to go through all of these, but you just really have to make sure that when you're actually doing this, that your consent is explicit and explicitly given. So how does KLAVIYO or other platforms kind of handle compliance here? I'm going to speak specifically to KLAVIYO. So platforms like KLAVIYO enforce compliance at the account level, right? So they will block sending without consent, and they will force you to have opt-out language, and they will restrict flows by regions, and they will also shut down accounts that trigger complaints. This might seem annoying. Do not try and bypass this, because if you try and bypass this and these issues still kind of pop up, that's where you get into that legal compliance. By the way, if you do have a complaint with any of this stuff, the platforms are always going to side with the carriers. They are not going to side with you, the brand. These platforms prioritize their relationship with the carrier over you, just how it is, okay? So, how do most brands break SMS compliance? These are the common issues that we see. Using checkout phone numbers without explicit opt-in, and KLAVIYO will not help you with this, okay? They're also doing so think about it like where somebody like ticks the checkout box or they automatically tick it. You can't work. It doesn't work. You have to make them explicitly tick checkout to get it, okay? Really, really important. That's the biggest one. Keep in mind, like one mistake here is often like enough to kind of get you into the bad books. Just stay on top of this. If you want to scale like SMS safely, just follow this framework, right? Collect SMS consent separately from email. Follow my sign-up form strategy for this. Use clear opt-in language. Use double opt-in for high-risk regions. Listen, double opt-in's a pain in the ass, but if you're worried about it, double opt-in. Adjust your messaging frequency, so don't send too many times. Once again, I'll talk about this separately, but I really recommend at most one SMS message a week. The work is boring, but it's a compliance piece that is important. All right, we're gonna go into the next modules now, guys. Thanks for watching. We're gonna talk about strategy, how to set stuff up, and all the good stuff. All right, let's do it.